Hi, I'm Katie. Welcome to the Heart of the Valley YMCA ScienceY. Today we're going to create our very own artwork using math. This is called a Sierpinski triangle, and we're going to make one. What do you think of when you hear the word pattern? Maybe a pattern on a shirt or a piece of clothing? Or a design on some kind of object? If you had to explain what a pattern was to someone else, you may say something like, well, it's a picture that repeats itself over and over. And numbers can be patterns too, not just pictures. Even if we're counting, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, there's actually a pattern in that. Each number is 1 higher than the one before it. So it's a pattern because you're doing the same thing each time to get the next number. What about this number pattern? If you think for a second about what kind of change might have happened between each one of these numbers in this pattern, you might notice that the difference is 2. 1, 3, 5, 7, there's a difference of 2 between each one of those numbers. So that's a pattern also. And this background that we've been looking at for a while, that's also a pattern. It's an example of a fractal pattern. That's just basically looking at how a pattern can repeat itself over and over again at different scales forever. Theoretically, a fractal pattern could go on forever. And we're going to explore that. We're going to explore how a fractal pattern could go on forever without stopping, and we're going to use triangles. You'll need a big cardstock triangle, some small triangles, a marker, and a glue stick. Open your kits and get those things out. First, you'll need your big triangle, all your little triangles, and a glue stick. Set your big triangle in front of you so that the point is facing upwards. Then get one small triangle of any color you want, turn it pointy side down, and glue it across the top of the big triangle like what you see me doing here. Notice that I've placed it so that the edges of the small triangle touch the edges of the big triangle. So if you're wondering how far down to glue it, that's where you want to put it, is right at the right place so that all the edges touch like what they are here. Next, use 2 more small triangles, turn them pointy side down also, and make a second layer. Glue them upside down so that the tips of the small triangles touch the bottom edge of the big triangle. If you have any overlap in the middle, that's fine, don't worry about that. We've made a pattern now already, just using these triangles. For the next step, you're going to need your marker. So what we're going to do is draw even littler triangles inside our already small ones. But watch closely to see how I do it, because there's one thing about this that can be confusing. I'll show you what that is though. Start by putting a dot at the halfway point on all 3 sides of any triangle that you want to start with. I'm starting with this one in the middle here. Then start with a line, just draw it straight across the triangle right down the middle. It'll basically cut that triangle in half. Then connect the other lines in a V shape and do this for all the other triangles that you can find. Watch a pattern unfold. But listen, this is important. Sometimes the triangle we draw will point up and sometimes the triangle that we draw will point down. Just remember that when you draw the V part, it's always going to point towards the flat edge of the triangle that you're drawing it in. It will never point to the pointy end of the triangle that you're drawing it in. Keep drawing triangles inside triangles until you can't anymore because the shapes just get too small. Think about if you had a smaller marker. Technically, you could take the shapes even smaller. Or what if you had a magical marker that just always got smaller as you needed it to? Then you could technically take the pattern forever. And the pattern could go bigger also. Try this with your friends. Try putting your triangles together on your table and see if you can make one big fractal pattern. And that's it for this video, but there's more. Check out our website at ScienceY.org or email us at ScienceY@ymcahuntsville.org.